It's only 5:57 p.m. We're in Warrenstown.
Warrenstown. I heard the crime there is off the charts.
All right. And we've gone offline. No, we're back. That's just, I actually never watched the YouTube thing. It just makes
Just never
me
watch
angry.
YouTube.
Yeah.
There's no reason to watch it.
That's what I tell my students. I'm like, here's a life lesson. Don't watch YouTube.
A total eclipse of the heart.
That was pretty good. That sounded just, you know who wrote that?
Yeah, I do. You kidding me? Jim Steinman
Yeah,
wrote that. He
yeah.
wrote, you can trust me. I can smell a Steinman a mile away.
That's true. That's true. He
Anytime
does.
the chorus kicks in, you're like, there they are.
He does
the
leave a certain
piano.
mark, doesn't
he? I love that man, but I mean, it's not, he's not fooling anyone.
He was a high school classmate with Tony Kornheiser.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
They both did well for themselves.
Yeah. Lots of people from Long Island did all right.
Mm-hmm.
It's like lots of people from Hurricane.
You know the game I covered this week on ARG, you know what it was called? The Hurricanes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like
That's
it.
why I picked it.
Was it about the U?
Soccer platformer.
Close.
Yes, they made more than one. I was stunned.
I can't wait to hear about how it stacks up to Soccer Kid.
One
of your favorites.
I do comment on that, actually. You don't have to wait long.
I'm going to advertise
Poop.
our postcards and magnets.
I mean, advertise them.
Well, I'm going to talk about how they came in and they're going out. All right. Ready?
No.
I'm not ready either.
1 second.
Let's double check our...
Hey, what was the wreck like? Was it real bad?
No, it was just a semi, something
I
happened.
had to be on the way to work the other day. It's like, why are we stopped?
Yeah, it's semi just kind of...
No one knows.
But it was in a real awkward place, which didn't help. And people don't know how to merge correctly. And
Well, they're in a hurry, bud.
yeah.
That means they're stupid.
Let's see. Let's make sure.
How
Site
much
updates.
Amiga-based stuff did you
Looking
see up
good.
in Delaware?
Let me think.
How many Amiga stores
Let me
did you see
think.
while you were there?
Boy, 1, 2, none.
Oh, man.
9 Amiga stores.
That's why they're so backward up there.
It is. You know, Delaware, you know what the most famous thing about Delaware is?
No.
No sales tax.
Oh, it's like Florida?
So, Florida has sales tax.
State tax. Excuse me. That's right. That's a difference.
So if you need to make any large purchases, just spend a massive amount of time, money, and gas.
I wonder how that works for them. You know, I mean, I wonder if that makes up.
they've got extremely high like property taxes. I mean,
so they get it somehow.
to come into the state, you've got to pay at least $8 depending on the size of your vehicle. All the roads leading into Delaware, there's a tax.
Screw that.
So they get you. Don't worry.
Everyone's running an angle. Hey, what do you think about this guy? Apparent suicide in jail. Did you ever hear about that?
Yeah, that's a shift in subject. Jeffrey
Well, no,
Epstein.
it just came up. Holy smokes!
Yeah, well,
there's gonna be some. There's gonna be some ramifications. There could be some. That's hard. Having worked at a jail for many years, I can tell you, I see people on suicide watch all the time.
right. Well, I guess he was on suicide watch. Then they evaluated him, took him off.
Right, but the thing is, like, you don't have, even when you're not on suicide watch, you don't have access. It's not like you could just
Open up your wardrobe, take out a selection of belts.
Here's what they wear, okay? At least now, I can't speak for New York City, but you would think they'd be a little more refined there than they are in Kentucky. In the great city of Kentucky. You got your classic orange jumpsuit, all right? There's no belt on this thing. You don't get no belt. You don't get no shoes, or you wear flip-flops. There's no shoelaces. So that stuff's out.
Right.
The bed linens are like super thin. So like I've always been told that they can't support body weight.
Okay.
Because they're so thin. So you can't and if you're on suicide watch, you're basically like effectively almost an empty cell.
Right. Right.
But the thing is, there's probably surveillance of what happened. Now, whether we'll ever see that, I don't know.
Do you notice when you go into the jails? I mean, are there just cameras everywhere?
Yeah, and it's not just that. There's the guards check on you. I know. Now I can't tell you how often they check on someone in a cell with like the suicide watch. Now you say I've heard that he was on one. I heard he wasn't on one. I've heard both. but you were checked on pretty regularly, and plus. Now I don't know about him being such a high. This is New York,
right?
Okay?
And he's also a high-profile rich dude.
Nobody has a cell by themselves. I can tell you that right now, unless you're medical issue, like something like that. Then you might get one, or you're really, really old. You know, there was this guy at one of the jails I went to. It's like ancient.
Well, the jails that you visit are not long-term holding facilities, right?
Oh no, they are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I thought that was
detention centers.
I thought the definition of a jail was that it was short-term.
When I say jail, that's not a fair term. It's a detention center.
Okay.
Where they're basically, and these are like, this is like maximum security or anything. These are like just you're in there for like stuff sort of like what he did.
Right.
You know, you're in there for like
white-collar crime,
or drugs, or
human trafficking,
or like sex crimes, stuff like that. So it is. I will say this, and this is not political when I say this. Either he did himself in somehow, which is possible. I'm not saying because people have done it, right? But if it is it's very convenient for a lot of people that happened, and it's no matter what, it's going to call for the entirety of renovating the entire jail staff.
Wow! So you think that this is going to have major repercussions?
Well, I mean, I look at it. There's two things that could happen. Either when there were some major shenanigans, this guy was like murdered. Okay, and let's face facts. If that's the case, we'll probably never know the truth.
Right.
Or he committed suicide, and they'll probably have video of it of how he did it, and the people that were responsible for watching this guy, they will have to be held accountable. And yeah, people are going to go to jail. People are going to get fired. All that. But there's going to be. This is the kind of crime. This is the kind of idiocy that gets your whole place has to be reevaluated, everything from the ground up. At a detention center that I go to, they've had a string of people escaping, drugs, like all kinds of crap going on inside the jail. And when the new jailer came in, the county was like, "Listen, you've got to completely start this thing." They better blow it up and start over. I mean, and this is a little nothing happening in part of Kentucky that was having this happen. This is think of the criminals on earth. And this guy's right at the top of the list.
Right.
I mean, this is the biggest guy around. You can't let it happen. So there's going to be, if someone just negligently dropped the ball, there's going to be a reckoning. I mean, a big system-wide reckoning. If there's not, there should be.
I didn't think about this, but I bet this is probably the talk of the whenever you're at work, there's always people talking about this too, right? Whenever you're walking in different places, you're hearing people talking.
I was just at a detention center last week that I go to. I go to my detention centers every 40 days or so. And they're very clever at this place. They've got magnets. They're magnetic signs, just like those. And they'll say like male, female, suicide watch, second stripe or whatever. They'll be like a special, like super duper suicide watch, and they just put them on the door they're in. And I work at a booking, and so right there in booking, there's a couple holding cells, and then there's a row of cells. Like there'll be the sick guy here, the old guy here. Then you've got a suicide watch cell right there, and the suicide watch cell is right beside booking generally. Well, I don't know if it doesn't necessarily have to be from the ceiling. It could from the bed frame or something. You don't have to go from the ceiling to choke yourself. You can just be where your neck is in a certain direction and your body is pulling you down.
Right.
It's
kind of macabre.
It's not the most pleasurable thing to talk about, but it's as someone who's in my field.
Right.
Plus, it's just as a human, it was disappointing.
That justice was not able to be served.
Everything about it was disappointing because I'd heard about this guy years ago. And he just hey, I don't know about other countries, but in the States, if you've got the bucks, you can get away with a lot of stuff.
Very true.
If you got the jack, that's why I can get away with so much because I got the big money.
Right.
Amigos level of money.
That's right.
That's why you're taking all expenses paid trip to Delaware. I mean, California, Beverly Hills, that's for suckers. We go to Delaware, yo.
Have you heard of Marsh Creek Park?
Oh, man.
Because that's where I was yesterday.
Who hasn't? That's where all the whiners and diners go, the Marsh Creek.
Let me ask you a question. So I've always heard that corrections officers are in high demand all over the country. Is that true?
I can't say that it is. I will say this. Being a corrections worker is a difficult job. They have a high turnover rate.
Right.
and it's low paying. At least in Kentucky, they don't make a ton of money, and it's a difficult job. Requires a combination of patience and attention to detail and a sternness that you have to have, and the ability to use teamwork in an effective way that can save everyone's life.
Sure. And you're doing all this with the threat of being injured or killed every day.
I mean, I walk into a detention center and I'm in there, unless something goes horribly wrong, I'm in there for 45 minutes, okay? Maybe a little bit longer. And I'm licking my chops to get out of these things most of the time because it's not pleasant.
Sure.
To be honest with you. Now, and I'm not going deep into it.
So if they offered you, say, double your salary to become a corrections officer, you wouldn't take it?
No, I wouldn't do it. And there's two reasons. Physically, I wouldn't want to have to. I mean, there's plenty of tubby security guards and prison guards. There's plenty of chicks that do it, and nothing against them, but God bless them. These are tough women, and you got to have the women in there too.
Right.
This is these are co-ed facilities, but it's a tough. My hat's off to them. I talk to my partner all the time. Like, listen, we both have the same opinion on it. You've got to give it up for them. That's a difficult task, and you're doing society's dirty work effectively.
Yep. You're taking over the people that society's washed their hands of.
Really, I don't know how popular an opinion this is and this is coming from me, and you know me. Police work, like guard work, that stuff is incredibly dangerous and underpaid.
Here's my
it really is. I don't mean me. I mean real proper cops.
Here's my feeling on this is that you always hear the reason why coal miners can make $60,000 a year right out of high school is because it's dangerous work.
Yes, it is.
Why is that not the same as a police officer, as a prison guard? It seems to me that the amount of money you make should be in direct, correlation with the hazardness of your duty. In the military, they do that. You've got hazard pay when you're in the military. I don't understand why somebody that's working. I'm not talking about Hurricane City cops. The Hurricane City cops are great, but I'm talking about people that really work in dangerous situations. Why they aren't paid extra?
It's an easy answer. It's not a good answer. Because they can get away with not paying that much.
That's true. Yeah.
I know my buddy handles a county in Kentucky that has the whole county has one police officer. He's a police chief, and he told everyone in the county when he had to get rid of his last deputy or whatever. He said, "Listen, everyone needs to go out and get a gun. They need to lock their doors, and they get a loud barking dog." That's almost a quote.
Sure.
Because I cover the entire county, and I can't do it because I've got to do stuff like do summons and
paperwork
and kick people out of their houses for delinquency, and so he can't do it. The officer closes at noon. All right, because he can't. It's not his fault. He can't do it. And now I think they have 2 state troopers that also cover that county. This is a whole county. Hundreds of square, 1,000 square miles or whatever.
Versus here, how many police officers you pass on your way here? 6 or 7.
It's all about,
we've got lots of money.
And that's what it is. And it's the same reason you can put detention staff members in a detention facility and just not pay them. And a lot of these people that work in these places are. It's probably not their first choice in jobs, but it is what it is. And someone's got to do it.
Yeah.
And so it's I don't know, we got on this. I guess I brought this up, didn't I? But yeah.
Well, this is just another episode of Prison Talk.
Oh, yeah.
We have these every once in a while. I'm going to release this as a separate audio file.
It is pertinent to the what's that, current topic there. But I mean, it's those guys don't make nearly enough money. And people, I've not always been spoken highly of our officials.
I've heard you rap F the police multiple times.
Oh yeah. But I will say, and it's not like I didn't know this before, but when you work right in there, man, that's a tough job.
Absolutely.
It really is, and mistakes can be made, and you're screwed. And don't get me wrong, there's plenty of times that they screw up, but I mean, it's not like every police officer is a scumbag. Most of them are great guys. And it only takes one to screw up a lot of people's rep.
Oh yeah.
And these guys are getting caught out and you know how it is around here. These guys get caught out into the hollers.
That's where all
at like 2 a.m.
That's where all the domestics are.
You're going out there, and you're going out there by yourself or maybe with another guy. You don't know who's waiting for you. You know everyone up is hollering, knows you're coming.
Yeah.
You know they've got weapons. You know they don't have any love for the police.
Right.
And it's your job to go up in there and figure out what's going on. No.
Yeah.
These are brave dudes,
That's
man.
right. That's right.
You know, so more power to them. It's an eye opener when you're on the inside. It's easy to judge from the outside because you see stuff on the news or read stuff on Facebook, you know. But I mean, when the rubber meets the road and these guys are going up these hollers or in one of these houses or in a car chase, man, you can get killed on your job. That's the one thing people got to remember. It's not like anything else. You can go out there and get murdered.
I don't even like doing detention hall at school.
Teachers are that's a tough job too. You
Yeah,
know?
but I mean, it's you have to have a certain personality to be able to not only be able to diffuse conflict, but be comfortable in conflict. And nothing about that is me at all. I like everybody to just get along.
You know, Edwin, I was just looking over here, and he said the U.S. has too many in jail. We do have that is a problem.
It is.
You know, and I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
The problem is, and I can only speak from what I know, a lot of people commit crimes, Edwin. I mean, and I don't mean like little wimpy crimes. You know, the jails in Kentucky are full of people that sold drugs, took drugs, and did a bunch of crazy stuff, or stole money to get drugs. Right? Just those three things will fill up your system. It's a problem. And so, to say that we have too many people in jail, I agree. The problem is we got too many people doing a bunch of crime.
Right.
If we could get them to stop, it's a social problem.
Yeah.
You know, it sucks. You know, we don't have the money. We don't want them in there because we can't afford the jails. You know, so what are you going to do?
That's right. That's right.
What was that game we played on the Amiga where you escaped from the jail? Alcatraz?
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Well, that was, our Hangar 18.
Yeah.
You're also escaping.
See, those are more fun than actually being in a real jail. And
Yeah.
the jail escapes are much easier. At the one county, the guy would just crawl up on the roof and jump. He crawled up on the roof to get drugs, and one day he fell off the roof and fell over the fence. Did I tell you this story?
No.
It was in the winter. So a prisoner they'd found a way to get out of the jail. He'd get up on the roof, and people would throw drugs up to him, and he'd take them back in there and sell them. Well, what happened was he got up on the jail, and he got bored. He was messing around up on the roof, and he fell off the roof, and he fell over the fence. Okay,
Wow.
so he's out of he's out. I mean, he doesn't want to be out. So he just went to the next available house and went in there and asked me to use their phone. They said, yeah. And he came in, just got on their computer and started looking up stuff. And they just said, there's a guy here. The cops went like a block and arrested this guy. He didn't want to be out of jail. He fell out of the jail.
That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this week's edition of Prison Talk. Tune in fortnightly for updates.
It'll be about the food next time. Oh, man.
All right. So that was good.
We didn't do anything.
Yep. I'll see you next week.
Oh, man. I told you we were going to make it quick tonight. You ready to do this?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to ask you about your trip on this part. We'll ham and egg this entire segment.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Amigos. I'm John.
And I'm Aaron.
And today we're going to be talking about Battle Isle.
Ooh.
Now, Aaron, what is your experience with Isles in general?
Isles?
Yeah.
Well, there's a spill in aisle 7. Oh, yeah, I got a million of them.
Have you ever been on an island?
I'm trying to think if I ever have. Kings Island.
That is not an island.
Blennerhassett Island.
Yeah, that is an island.
Also, Fort Sumter.
Is that an island?
You ever been to Fort Sumter?
No.
It's on an island that's right outside Charleston, South Carolina.
Okay.
It was the very first battle of the Civil War. Was fought at least it was certainly the first sea battle. Was fought at first. I visited the first place and the last battle of the Civil War. I've been to both places. Beautiful area. Very historic, obviously. But in terms of big islands, I've never been to Hawaii. I mean, you've been to tons, right?
Yeah, I've been to
Japan.
I've been to Japan.
A big island, right?
My favorite island, one of my favorite islands is Blennerhassett Island.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of a hidden gem in West Virginia.
Yeah, I agree. I've toured the mansion. I've toured the grounds.
I like riding. You rent a bicycle. You ride around there.
Screw that. I walked it. Hooked Can't afford to rent no bike.
Yeah, it is expensive. At $5 for half a day.
The boat ride's nice out there.
Yeah, you take a ferry out there.
Yeah, and boy, beautiful picnic areas out there. It's funny though, not to get too controversial, but we took the tour of the facilities at Blennerhassett Island, and the tour guide was talking about, we went to they have like a slave quarters out there they used to have, right? And she was talking about what they did and what happened. She goes, the slaves here on Blennerhassett Island, they were happy, they were cool with it.
Oh, I'm sure they loved it.
I doubt that.
Yeah, poor servitude.
I never forgot about that.
I bet that. How long ago was this?
Oh, it's a long time.
I was going to say,
ago.
I bet that tour guide has exited stage left since then.
Yeah, I would wager you're correct. But it is. Did you tour the museum there on the other side of the island?
No, I haven't been to the museum.
Yeah, it's real nice.
Now, did you hear about there was an island right outside Montgomery in the middle of is that the Canal River that flows? Yeah, must be. That some couple bought for like $10,000. You could buy a whole island right outside Montgomery.
Really? It must have been super tiny.
It was not very
less
large.
than an acre.
And they asked them, what are you going to do with this thing? And they're like, well, we don't really know. And I don't know. Montgomery is not really a place where lots of people are flocking to these days.
That's where Brent went to school.
Yeah,
out there.
And Jamie and Mike.
Oh yeah. Well, Brent lived. That's where Brent did his off hours time in the camper. He lived in that. She lived in a camper up there, down by the river. That's where he lived for a while. I've got to ask him about that on ARG next time. I'll tell you brought it up. But yeah, no. And when it comes to battling on islands, I have even less.
You haven't.
Most of my battles occur on the mainland.
What's the closest you've ever come to LARPing?
I have LARPed.
Oh,
I have LARPed.
Do tell.
One time. We were playing. How does you jump from Battle Isle to LARPing?
Well, when I think about battling on an island, I think about myself dressed in a wizard outfit with a bunch of foam lightning bolts.
Man, we're not that snazzy.
That's what I think about.
We were playing a game. It was a role-playing game, and it's still around, I think. It was called Vampire the Masquerade. You ever heard of this?
Oh, yeah.
It was a big deal at the time. And they were real heavy into LARPing, and the people that made it. And so we ran a live action game. It didn't have a name back then. We just called them live action games. There wasn't a shorter term. Where my buddy, we took my friend's house over, and we had all of our friends who were like it was a vampire, like a masquerade ball, basically.
Wow.
And we had probably 10, 12 people play.
Now, how do you DM a
LARP? He just sort of lingered around, and it was just when he had to. Most of the role playing was just done independently of. It was a little bit too much inside for me, and so. But I will say, everyone loved it, and we all agreed that we should do it over and over, and we never did it again.
It's most of the things that go down like that.
I will say, just for as a side note on that, the Chudster was supposed to be at this thing, but he was too embarrassed to come.
I was going to say he was the most famous of them all. Kamar, the discount assassin, wasn't that his name?
Yeah, Kamar didn't show up for the Princess Ball, but yeah, it was fun. I really say they were including it had combat and everything.
Really?
People tried to screw each other over. Yeah.
How do you combat?
It was all handled. There was dice rolls and
so
whatnot. It's not like you see on TV, like fireball +4. We didn't do that.
So instead, you're talking to somebody, and all of a sudden, you're like, "It's on," and then you just start rolling.
Oh no, the DM pretty much took care of the stuff. It was a lot of it was just like the DM's discretion. I should say GM is discretion.
I was going to say at a masquerade ball, you can't really have like a lot of combat.
To be fair, it wasn't a masquerade ball. It was a Vampire the Masquerade. It was the prince of a city was a vampire having a big party. And all the vampires around came over, and some werewolves were there too. Yeah, I know it sounds. You can tell I was awesome, and by the way, I'd like to say this was in high school, but I was well graduated when I did this.
It's unfortunate that no video survives of this particular occasion.
Yeah, I played a Ravnos called Jacob Twist. That was my guy.
Oh man,
yeah, he was awesome. He had a big question mark. I was a big Doctor Who fan, so he had a leather coat.
So he mix it into Doctor Who with the vampire.
He was a gypsy vampire.
It's getting even cooler.
Yeah, he was. I love Jacob. He was awesome. But yeah, we had the whole gang there. It was fun. We had a real good time. I guess he never done that.
I've never LARPed.
Every time I roleplay with you, it's always like a LARP.
Well, it is
because you're out of your mind.
I do enjoy role-playing it. I would not say no if someone invited me to don a wizard helmet and parade through the forest. I'd be in.
No, I don't want to see that.
You don't want to see it?
We didn't have the money for that stuff. Also, vampires don't wear that kind of crap.
That's true. Vampires are very fashionable.
I had on a pair of blue jeans, Doc Martens, and a leather jacket. That's what I had.
You look pretty good, like Riff Raff.
No, I looked like a big fat doofus in a leather jacket and Doc Martens. I just can't pull it off. Maybe I could now, but back then I couldn't.
Riff Raff was who's Meatloaf's character?
Eddie.
Eddie. You looked like Eddie.
Well, yeah, I was trying. I didn't pull it off.
So you had Rocky Horror, Doctor Who, and Vampire all rolled into one.
Can't ever listen. I steal only from the best. And steal early and often.
That's good. That's good. Well, this week's game, Aaron, Battle Isle.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do with anything we've been talking about.
No,
it's got nothing to do with LARPing. There are no vampires in this game. But you know, we're getting ahead of ourselves because we got a lot of other things to talk about before we get into it. First thing is, check this out, guys. We have Amigathon postcards are in.
Let me see one of those.
Yeah. And Amigathon magnets. So if you donated to Amigathon for the amounts and sent me your address, you will be getting one of these fine quality products in the mail, one or both, very, very soon. And we want to give a special shout out to friend of the show, Jonas Rulo.
He's in the house. He's in the house.
Jonas, what's going on, man? Yeah, he's. Thank you very much for making these magnets for us. We really appreciate it.
Now, does he live on the Big Island out there?
I don't know which island.
Now, if you're out up near Hawaii, let's say.
Speaking of a battle isle.
You need to contact this man because this stuff is the quality work.
Yeah. You know, I just picture him and Dog the Bounty Hunter just rolling down the street.
I don't like Dog's
Hawaii.
chances. I think this guy. Oh, yeah, well, I thought you meant fighting. You mean hanging?
No, just hanging. They're
Dog
buds.
the Bounty Hunter.
He's the only other Hawaiian I know.
He's not natively from Hawaii, is he?
I think so.
Is he?
Born and bred.
You know, I don't get that show.
Well, it's not on anymore. That's why.
I never got it. It looked.
Well,
it
did
was
you have
dumb.
cable? Oh,
I've seen it. No, you're missing my point here, Bode. I don't see the appeal of that show.
Well, he's the dog. He's the big bad dog. He's a bounty hunter.
He's not none of that's real.
What?
I'm not buying any of it.
You see, he doesn't use guns.
And
he goes with the pepper spray. And he kicks down the door.
I've seen episodes where he talked these hard criminals and they just turn themselves in.
They just start crying.
No, I don't care. No speech from Dog the Bounty Hunter is gonna make that happen. I'm not buying it. What was up with Dog's hair?
Man, if I had that hair, you think I wouldn't rock it that way?
No, I don't think you would.
It looks sort of like a poodle.
He yeah. Like, it's no good. I never liked that guy.
Really?
I'm sorry about his wife.
Yeah.
These things happen.
Jonas says his son's office used to be by the police station about 2 minutes where he works. So they are connected. They are connected.
I love that.
Yeah.
See, Hawaii's not a huge city. It's not huge. They're all hanging out.
That's right. They're all hanging out.
I think of MMA when I think of Hawaii because there's some excellent MMA fighters that come out there, including BJ Penn.
I always thought they were from. Where are all the wrestlers from? Samoa? I figured all the MMA guys would come from.
There aren't a ton of guys from Samoa, but there are a couple.
Is that a different skill set?
You know, in Hawaii, now they always have said that in Hawaii, fighting has been around. In fact, the professional level fight's been around forever. You know, I don't mean MMA. I mean it's like going to war, and so you've got some tough, determined, gritty guys that do martial arts out in Hawaii, and they are excellent workers, world champions. So I think of them. Everybody would like to live out in Hawaii. I mean, I would just because it's so beautiful out there. The weather's so nice, but I know it's expensive to live out there.
It is. They got to ship everything in too.
Yeah.
Now it's time, Aaron, to talk about what's been going on this week in the world of Amiga news.
Oh, okay.
No, it's side updates next. I'm all kerfluffled.
We don't have to have an exact
That's true.
order.
We'll do Amiga news next.
Go ahead.
All right, Aaron. I've queued up several big stories for us this week.
Okay, great. And you've been gone, and you still were queuing stuff.
I know. I've been pulling stuff. This is really a check-in with what's been going on in the Amiga community.
Yeah, because there's been a lot of good stuff.
Yeah. First up, we've got a new episode of the 10-minute Amiga Retrocast starring our buddy, Tenmark.
I haven't even seen. Is this brand new?
This is about a week old.
Oh, okay. So, go ahead.
And this is where he's got an Amiga 2000, and he's basically breaking it down. He's trying to troubleshoot it, figure out what's wrong with it. He's doing all kinds of stuff like that. Man, I love, the thing I like about 10-minute Amiga Retrocast is he assumes no prior knowledge. He breaks things down so I can understand them.
It's funny you should mention this because he did an epised, and it wasn't this one, I guess it was the last one, where he actually mocked you in the episode.
Really?
And your picture and my picture appear in the episode.
Oh.
With little word balloons.
Well.
And so I fully congratulated I fully congratulate him for a job well done, as he trashed you for not liking AGA. It was glorious.
Well, he's entitled to his wrong
I was
opinion.
sure you were going to bring that up. So for you to bring up the next one, I find highly amusing. Yeah, if you want to see Bo come up and
I guess that would be episode 32 then.
I was pleased. I was very pleased. Yeah, all of his stuff's gold, solid gold.
Up next, Amiga Bill and Guru Anthony.
Yes.
These guys have been on the road at VCF East. They've done 2 videos, one of which we're going to talk about now. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
yeah.
I haven't seen this one.
These guys do the best quality. I mean, the quality, of course, Bill's a cinematographer, so he knows what's going on.
He's an award-winning cinematographer.
Yeah. This video is all about their J minor Commodore, their Amiga 1000 tribute. So they've done a whole exhibit based on this guy. And of course, this is all the background of the setting up and everything. But Jay had a big effect, obviously, on Amiga Bill when he was growing up. He met him. Then he's actually created a sort of what you might see in a theme park, where there's a little cutout in a giant photo where it looks like you can be meeting Jay Minor as well. So
I think that's I don't know how in God's name I missed this. This looks great.
See this. I watched this, and I watched their companion video in which they interview Kurt Vendel, I think is his name. He is the man when it comes to Atari 8-bit stuff.
Okay.
And he has a huge exhibit with dedicated to the Atari 400-800, just those 2 machines. Fascinating stuff. He went over pre-production models and stuff like that. So if you're interested in not only the Amiga, but technically the father of the Amiga, the Atari 800, you should definitely check out both these videos on the Guru Meditations YouTube channel.
I also add in that I watched Amiga Bill's live stream the other day, and he played a bunch of new Amiga games, and I was really impressed. There's some excellent stuff that's came out. I'm looking forward to trying it out here on the show.
Cool.
And of course, Bill is always wacky.
Yeah.
He was up to his usual wacky antics.
Coming up next, so I hit the escape key correctly. Pixel Vixens been at it. This is the first time that I've ever seen her do this particular thing. This is Disney Animation Studio live on the Amiga. Oh, do you think about the many incarnations of Lame Angelo I've done on Amigathon? You think I'm doing animation?
I have tried to use Disney Animation Studio back in the day. You might as well skip ahead there. And it is not for the. I had no luck animating things, but I mean, I always heard it was a pretty good tool.
Yeah, I'm gonna skip over. Of course, this is about a 2-hour-long stream, and you basically watch her create this animated cartoon. It's very, very cool.
And she is an excellent hand.
Absolutely. So if you're into animation on the Amiga and into some cool streaming action, and of course all the chats archived too, so you can tune in and look at what people were saying. But yeah, highly recommend Pixel Vixen's work. Moving on down, this is something, I don't know if this is new or not, but this came across the Discord bow.
Yeah, that's where I saw this.
This is a brand new slim PSU for the Amiga 500, 600, and 1200.
Definitely something that's in need.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is, I would say it is maybe about half, maybe 2/3 the size of the original power supply. But what's great about it is that it sits upright, and it's got both cords are on the back, so that you don't have to go in one end and out the other. It's really hard to put components on your desk when they're wired up that way.
You know, the sad thing is, Bo, that you literally scooped this guy by 6 or 7 years.
I know.
With your Amiga power supply in a box.
My award-winning shoebox design.
Your shoebox design, which I'm still using that to this day.
Right. I cleverly drilled the holes for the fan with a screwdriver into the cardboard.
Yeah, and it still works. That was that was our buddies in Poland.
That was
and their wacky power supply adapter. It still works. I use that. I've got a real power supply. I still use the other one.
That's awesome.
I feel like it's safer.
That's awesome.
Now this looks pretty good. It looks almost like a little.
Look how tiny that is.
Oh yeah. I mean, think about it. I've got a few guesses as to what's in that. I haven't seen one like taken apart, but it looks good. He did a good job theming it, I guess. Whatever. I think there's multiple colors.